Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, 3-year-olds on the road to the Kentucky Derby in the Grade 2 Wood Memorial at Aqueduct on Saturday, race number 10 at 1 1/8 miles. Let's take a peek at this field. The number 3 Battalion Runner, 2-1 on the morning line. He's won his last 2 starts with big numbers at Gulfstream for Todd. Does Todd have another good 3-year-old here?
I guess it would be about the least surprising thing in the world at this stage of the game. He seems like he comes up with a new one every week. Maybe Battalion Runner's one of them. I kind of want to see him do it, Dan. I liked his win just fine. 2 starts back. I don't know about his last one. I mean, he got it done in there as the heaviest of favorites, but I don't know. I wasn't blown away with his 2-turn debut.
That race hasn't come back exactly strong just yet. How do you think Johnny Velasquez is going to ride this $700,000 Keeneland grad? You just put him right on the engine?
I would like to see him send him and go to the front. It's not like there's a ton of pace in this race. We'll see what happens with the 2 horses, 2 is inside, but I got to believe that Johnny will be looking for the lead early.
The number 8 Irish War Cry is a Jersey-bred son of Curlin. He won his first 3 starts, including a gate-to-wire impressive performance in the Grade 2 Holy Bull, where he took out next out Fountain of Youth winner Gunnevera. What happened in the Fountain of Youth? Was it a situation where he didn't get the lead and he got a little bit of sour? Maybe he bounced coming back a little bit too soon, or maybe they threw some pace at him.
Yeah, I sort of feel like it's the latter of those that threw some pace at him. He couldn't make the front. I mean, he was pretty awful in there. He was very weak through the second turn of that race and just totally stopped running. We'll see if he can rebound in here. In a lot of ways, it's the question of the race, at least in my mind. The question is, can he rebound to a good race, or can Motown rebound to a good race? Can either of them do it? Can one of them do it? Because if they can't, and this is not meant as any disrespect to Battalion Runner, I think Cloud Computing is going to be very tough if those 2 horses can't run.
Let's talk about Motown. You've always been very high on this horse, and he is a course and distance winner of the Grade 2 Remsen. Now, a lot of folks have been down on the Remsen. Yeah. Several horses have come out of that race to run poorly, including Motown, who made his 3-year-old debut in sort of an interesting spot that they decided to run in the fairgrounds for the Grade 2 Risen Star. That pace was very, very fast, though, and maybe he just needed the start.
Right. I mean, that's really the only way that you can look at him if you want to try and like him in this race and just say, I agree that it was a weird spot, but not a bad one for Dutro to go running this horse in, but the pace was fast. And he did chase it the entire way, and he got very tired at the stretch. Maybe he needed the race. Maybe there was something else working against him. But I want to be positive on him, Dan, because I liked him a lot as a 2-year-old. I liked all 3 of his races as a 2-year-old. I don't care what people are saying about the Remsen, that it's a negative key race. I don't buy that at all. This horse ran really, really well that day. And I still want to hold out some hope that he could be a good 3-year-old. I realize I don't have that much firm ground to stand on off of his last race, but I'm giving this horse one more chance on Saturday.
And while the fairgrounds horses might not be the leading lights leading up to the Kentucky Derby, they're solid horses, or at least the ones that ran in the Risen Star. Gervin, of course, came back to win the Louisiana Derby. Untrapped ran 3rd in the Rebel, both with solid enough figures.
Those horses, yeah, they're okay. We'll see what happens. Obviously, Motown has to take a big step forward off of that race, and we'll see if he can do it. I like that he's drawn inside. I just wanted to point out another thing that maybe he has working against him, and that's that Tony Dutro has been on an awful run in New York for the past year. Just at the NYRA tracks, he's 4 for 70 with a 37-cent ROI. 2 of those wins are for Motown last year. Without Motown, he's 2 for 68, his last 68 in New York.
The good news is it's with Motown, and he's got Motown in the Wood Memorial. As for Cloud Computing, is it a case of too much too soon? This is start number 3, 1 1/8 miles already. Listen, by Valentine's Day, this horse had just won a maiden race. Chad is throwing him to the wolves, and you know something? I like it.
I do too. I think it's a good sign for this horse that he's running him not only in the Gotham, that he ran him in the Gotham, that he comes right back in the Wood. And didn't he run really well in the Gotham? That pace was pretty fast. He was closer to it than J Boy's Echo was. And when he got run, that horse ran by him in the stretch. This horse did not stop trying. He actually ran really well in there. Once again, I don't know if Motown and Irish War Cry could ever get back to their good races. And if they can't, I think this horse wins for fun.
As for the long shots in here, Glenn Richmond won a maiden race on the engine last time out. We know that Kendrick Carmouche is an astute judge of pace. Does he try to get out there under Glenn Richmond and at least hold on for a big piece of this purse?
Yeah, maybe he does. I don't know if he's fast enough, even if they want to lead in this race, and even if he makes it, I just don't think he's good enough to win.
True Timber ended up in front in the Withers, despite going to his nose at the start. He was part of that very fast pace in the Gotham.
Yeah, he was.
He might not have to go as fast in this early portion of the race. I'm just not sure how good he is.
Yeah, I don't know how good he is either. He's okay, that's for sure. I don't know if he's a true graded stakes kind of horse. I mean, they really went after Ella Reeb last time. They rode this horse very aggressively last time. I doubt they'll do that again this time, but does that make that much of a difference?
Bonus points is the other Todd. He was jammed up a bit behind an 80-to-1 shot on the far turn, but he was never beating Ella Reeb that day. It was his best race. I think he's a nice little allowance horse, a nice little Maryland bred. This seems a little tough.
Yeah, I agree with all that. As Jerome, he had a little bit of a trip in there. He wasn't winning anyway, but he had a little bit of a trip. I wanted to see him back that race up a little bit better in the Withers. He didn't do any running at all.
Can we get Stretch's Stone into the number at a big price?
Yeah.
This is a New York bred that's won his last 2 races, albeit the last one by disqualification, but he was in against a good New York bred, Mr. Buff, who came back to win with an 88th Beyer speed figure. You look at this pedigree and you're like, how is he going to get a mile and an eighth? But I think this horse is okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he's a Bustin' Stones. On the positive side for his pedigree, his dam was a good dirt router. She won 6 times routing on dirt. I think that's where he gets a lot of his stamina from, and he's run well in all 3 of his races. He was good last time.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 2 Wood Memorial. You're going back to Motown.
Yeah.
6-1 on the morning line, switching back to Javier.
He's the only horse that I don't really want to give Irish Warcry another chance. He's the only horse I want to give another chance to. If he's not good enough, so be it. He'll be off the Derby trail, and maybe we'll never see him again. If it's not him, it's Cloud Computing for me. I'm not using anybody else.
Cloud Computing for me. I know it's only his 3rd start. He's got to go a mile and an eighth, but like Mike, I liked what we saw out of him in his 2-turn debut in the Gotham. I think he's got that tactical running style to sit from off of the pace. Hopefully that AP Indy blood on the bottom of his pedigree helps him get this distance. Mike's going 2.73. I'm going 7.36 in the Grade 2 Wood Memorial. And if you're playing this action-packed Saturday card from Aqueduct, here's the deal. $300 sign-up bonus available for DRF Bet subscribers at drf.com/trifecta. Approximate post for the Wood Memorial, 5:52 Eastern. Good luck.